Hello, this is Eric of Not Bio Studio, and right now I am using this microphone in my studio. It comes with this here where you can mount the device. We got a thread, 1/4 inch on the bottom, cold shoe mount. It's nice padded, fairly large for your phone. In terms of the gap for fitting your phone, you have about 10 centimeters or 4 inches. And that is inner groove to inner groove. And this is nice soft rubber, so it should not scratch your phone at all. This one's labeled MVC, this phone mount. But yeah, so far it seems so good. And we are going to, of course, mount the receiver on top of here, connect our phone inside here, and we're going to use the selfie stick using this thread. And that should work absolutely fine. But we'll get that in a moment. Now, in terms of the software from Saramonic, let's get to the PC and show you that. To PC using the provided USB cable, despite everything being on max, we can see our waveforms is pretty low. So in post, I'll pretty much have to raise the volume or else my PC recorded volume will be quite low. Right now I'm getting some decent audio using a sound card. I'm using the camera cable included with this Saramonic device. And this is the sound card, the CX31993. This is a 32-bit sound card, a hi-fi card. I'll leave a link in the description, and I've reviewed this before. It's one of the best ones I have. So there's that. It works great to mobile phone and to PC, and that's what you're hearing right now. And our volume levels on this device is the receiver is +5 and the transmitter is +5 out of 12 and 12. So we have some decent enough volumes here. If I cranked it right up, of course, I'll get, like, I can even make it clip. So good volumes using this adapter. Best so far. Is the sound card I was using that you heard, USB Type C, and it has this type of connection. And you might be thinking, oh, I don't have USB Type C on my PC. Well, this comes with USB Type C on the back end, you can see right here, to USB Type A. Done. Right like that. And that gives you superb sound to either PC or to mobile phone. You heard it here. Now let's go back to PC using this cable. Can you see that? Oh, can you see that? Oh. That was a test of dynamic range. That was a test to see if I get the highs and the lows going through this microphone. That's your dynamic range test. You're welcome. Here is the Saramonic app on my mobile phone, and the QR code to download it is on the downloadable information for this particular device. So let me show you that. Here we see the BlinkMe 2.4 gigahertz wireless smart microphone with touchscreen. We can download that, and when we download that, we see this manual right here. We can scan the QR code for the user manual. And for changing our front face of our device, I was looking right here, and here is where I scan. Now, you can scan this if you want to make it easier for yourself and download this same software. This is what I use. Setting it up will require you are connected on your mobile phone to Bluetooth. And when you scan that software and go to the page for the QR code, it will say that this is not a secure store because you're not going through the App Store to get this software. You're going through their link, downloading it, and then, of course, you wind up with this right here, this application that I have open right now. In my case, I have the BlinkMe programmed to it. It wasn't very difficult. I found it in search with a bunch of other Bluetooth devices. I'm going to click on my device management. And for those that are wondering what device management is, we see right here, device management. And I can't see this properly because I am looking on a small screen to see what I'm doing. Now through here, we can also do a bunch of different things. We can change our face of our device. Let's see if I can see which one's what. I believe the device face is right here. And these are the faces of our device. I added my logo, as you can see right there, of my channel. And these are all in the device itself. Now, how do you see these pre-programmed device images? Well, I'll show you right now. I set my second microphone to mute just so I can show this nice and easy. So to see your wallpapers, all you're going to do is hold this down. There we go. And I should be able to swipe. Oh, there we go. And we can see the pre-programmed faces within the device, which I didn't know previously until I decided to look up the little manual. And then we can see everything. I like this Earth one. This is probably my favorite pre-programmed one right there. It's like really nice. But we should obviously know that because my space theme up there, picture, the other one down there, and you can't even see on camera all the little pictures I have, the metal artwork, but there it is. So I'm in my app right now, and if I want to add a custom wallpaper, I'll click that. And then I'll add the plus symbol, and it'll show me all the pictures on my computer. So if I really wanted, so I'm going to use this photo right here, and then I got to click this little top side so it goes blue on my phone, which I can't see properly, but yeah, now it's checked. And then I click sure right down here, and then I can adjust this image to where I want within the box, but it will, wherever the black parts are and the image is out, I'm limited to that section. So if I really wanted this as my logo and put it on my device, I can do that. Here we go. The one I'm wearing right now is where it went. But do I want that image? No, I don't. In my particular case, I'm gonna... Now, if I want to get rid of a theme, I can go to edit. And you'll see this little X, red X. So I'm gonna click that, which I can't see properly because I can't see my screen. But anyways, the point is, I'm gonna click that red X and I'm gonna press OK. And then I want to get my theme back. So I'm gonna go click on my little puck. And I'm going to click my theme and apply. Right here, we see device 2 on this one. And on this one, we see device 1. And we are back to my logo as we see right now. And that is how you change the front face of your device. Now let's get finally on with testing other devices like the mobile phone. We have an app for recording. You can see right here this video. So I'm going to have to test this video app and see how it works. We can see volume lines right here, and I don't have the device connected right now, but if we're recording my mobile phone, I even have this app to use. That's pretty darn sweet. But I'm going to connect the BlinkMe to this and record with it and see how that goes on my mobile phone. Test, test. And we can now hear my Saramonic BlinkMe. Yeah, the Saramonic app, at least in my particular case, did not work well for this particular method of recording. It was really crackly. Right now, the audio you're hearing is through my Sony ZV-1 and the headphone out port. I'm going to record again. Right now, I'm using the SR-C2001 adapter from Saramonic. Right now, I'm using the Open Camera app together with my Android Xiaomi 12X mobile phone. How am I coming through? I'm not sure if it's any better using the USB Type-C to USB Type-C, but we'll both find that out on playback. Let's disconnect the headphone out port so I have some freedom. All right, now I'm using a USB Type-C that does not come with this device connected to both this device and to my mobile phone. You can always use an adapter with the USB Type-A, USB Type-A to USB Type-C. Just make it sure it's data cable, at least USB 2.0. And right now I'm using the BlinkMe using the exact same phone adapter and using, of course, the Saramonic cable to the BlinkMe. How am I coming through? Now let's get down to business and the 16-bit and 24-bit internal recording. Everything you've been hearing has been the microphone so far without internal recording. The audio you're hearing is 24-bit internal recording. Right now I can hear a bit of fan noise right from here. Let's check this out. And I'm going to turn on noise reduction. So let's listen. And I'm going to turn that noise rejection back off. So in terms of symbols, we can see the record symbols, that little red light. And if I want to hold and press mute, and of course I can see on the screen when I'm unmuted. So I don't know if there's any pops or any noise specifically for when it does that, but that's kind of cool. So right now I don't have denoise on, it's regular sound. Pretty cool. This is the 24-bit recording. I don't know how it's coming through. It'd be probably a lot better if I turn off all the sounds around me, just to not have any distraction, because I can hear that fan as I showed. Right now, the audio you are hearing is recorded in 16-bit. How am I coming through? One thing I want to test is how the silence does sound. Now let's listen to the silence, and during the recording I'm going to press the noise reduction button, which is, and I quote, the same as denoise. Same premises, different name. So we're going to listen now to the silence. Okay, now we're going to switch now to 24-bit internal recording and do the same test. We are now listening to the internal recorded 24-bit audio. How am I coming through? In a moment, I'm going to press the denoise button, and again, we're going to listen to the silence. Yes, denoise is the same thing as noise reduction, just different terms, but that comes to the same premises. Now, you notice I have all the lights off. That is purposeful because I didn't want noise from all the electronics and from my computer fans, so we get a true sense of self noise. Now let's listen to the silence. Whew, that is actually hard to be that quiet. And right now, of course, that noise reduction's on since I pressed that button. How am I coming through? Does it come through on the internal recording? I don't know, but we'll both know on playback. And one last check. If I change the volume, does it change the volume on internal recording? Spoiler alert. Yes, the recording volume is changed based upon the device volume. Let's hear how much it does change, and that's unexpected, but of course this also means that basically any change you make to the device itself goes to the internal recording. I'm going to go to my transmitter right here. This is transmitter number 2. Increase it to +10. And am I any different volume? I have not a clue. And let's go to the receiver gain level, and we're also going to turn that way up. And again, I'm not recording to my digital camera. I'm actually recording to the internal memory of this specific memory card. How am I coming through? When considering the fact that the volume level is based upon the level of the device recorded internally, and basically every setting there is, including your safety track, which a safety track, for those that don't know, means that one speaker is louder than the other speaker for left or right channel. And the safety track is meant so if the one is too loud and clipping your audio, distorting your audio because it's too loud, the other one's supposed to still remain. But the more you boost that volume, the more you're creating that chance of clipping on really high volumes if you're speaking really loud. Like if you're at max volume, your recording level is going to also be at max volume, so keep that in mind. 24-bit, just go with that. And the reason for 24-bit versus 32-bit, 16-bit gives you like 22 hours of record time versus I think it was something like 14 in 24-bit. File size difference. That's about sums up what you get if you need more storage space. Right now, the audio you are hearing is connected to my mobile phone, USB-C to USB-C to the receiver. I'm using my own custom cable. You can see right here to here. You can buy these easily at any store. It has to be data type, and that'll allow you to do what I'm doing. And I'm using the headphone out with a splitter so it can actually record to camera, and I can hear through my headphones as well what I'm saying. There's a very, very small slight delay, like very, very slight. Do I have anything else? No software is actually installed. My phone is saying this right now. I have an Android Xiaomi 12X phone. And let's turn on denoise after I have a moment of silence. So denoise definitely clears up that self noise big time. And of course, again, this is the headphone out, which of course, normally camera out, line out is going to give you the best sound. But this shows how good the actual headphone out is to the camera. Very comparable that way, at least to the DJI mic, but with denoise, even better than the DJI mic in terms of self noise. Yet this is cheaper, more affordable than the DJI mic. Now get that one. So let's see if we can make a phone call with this. So remember, it's USB-C from this to the receiver end of this device. Now I'm using, and I'm not even using line in because I don't need it because the USB is actually playing sound out. And I'm using headphone out, which if I want to, I could just connect this headphone right directly to it and make my phone calls. Now check out this.
Yeah, that's very clear.
Yeah, there's something also called denoise, but I don't know if you can actually hear the difference. Dad said he couldn't. This denoise,
What do you mean?
it gets rid of like any little hiss or anything in the sound, makes it real clear.
I can tell the difference of, like you were clear before,
Yeah.
but I feel now it's clearer a bit because it feels more like as if you're sitting near in the living room type.
Yeah, I turned the volume down because I'm not sure if the headphones were actually going back through the microphone, the sound.
Yeah, maybe it was a bit too loud. I don't know.
Don't care.
I don't care.
We're just testing a microphone here and I'm asking questions. I'm asking some very tough questions that are very hard to answer.
Yeah.
And as you can see, he's not answering.
Anyways, right now the microphone is set to mono. I'm going to try stereo because right now both of us are on both left and right channel for sound.
And I'm on the left.
Are you? Well, I don't know what you're going to be on. I got to go through the menu. I'm going to change recording mode.
I'm sitting on the left.
And to stereo. Let's see if this is automatic. Test. Yeah, it's automatic. So now I have it set to stereo for recording mode. So there's going to be one person on the left and one person on the right. Yeah. Which one's which? I don't know. I'm on channel 1 and your microphone's on channel 2 and it's actually labeled number 1 and that's labeled number 2. And I don't know which one's left or right. So yeah, I guess I'd find out in playback.
We sure will.
Yeah.
I'm taking this home when I leave, by the way.
Sure.
You see, because I'm telling him it's not stealing.
Yeah, he just likes it because it says it's not a BIOS. There.
No, I'm going to change that.
What did you change it to? What your?
I'm changing it to what mine is, which is Yes BIOS.
Yes,
Tech
BIOS.
and hot water.
Tech, oh yeah, because
it's a comedy channel.
I used to be tech and hardware, so yeah, that's why it's in hot water.
HW. But this is what mine is. Mine's a comedy channel, totally different.
At least in mono is going to be maybe louder with one person versus the other person, while having stereo, you have both left and right. You can edit individually, so if one person's too loud versus the other person, you can at least level it off.
Well, I'm delayed, so that's why I'm sitting here right now, or I'd be gone.
Anyways, I think we've been delaying this video enough, and this is a test of the Saramonic BlinkMe. It is a very windy day today, and the camera's probably going to shake around, but I don't have much choice other for a muff on right now, and odds are there's going to be wind getting through here. Let's use the wind reduction. Noise reduction's on, which should reduce the noise of the wind. Okay, now I'm going to turn that back off just to get more natural type sound. I guess it doesn't really matter. It depends if you want to hear the wind or not. I'm going to go around this building. I'm going to keep the noise reduction off, and then I'll do my distance test. But first of all, let's take this wind muff off so we can hear the wind with noise reduction turned on without a fur muff windshield. The noise reduction's now off. First test I want to do is an obstacle blocking test. So I'm going to walk around and let's run to the tree down here and see what happens, if I cut out or not. Am I cutting out? I'm behind a post and a tree. And let's go around the building and find how the reception is. I have no clue yet because I've never tested this. Right now the noise reduction is not turned on, and that means we can get a bit more wind noise right now than we normally get. Of course, I do the reception. Free right now. So did I cut out? I don't know, but let's get to the main test where I test the reception distance. That's all marked out. Now time to do a reception distance test. You can see all the signs marked throughout. I got up to 450 feet marked out, which is of 120 meters and feet marked out. We're living in Canada here, which is mostly feet, just like the USA, but I have both distances marked for you. Now, let's get an idea of how far this really is. We are quite the distance away when talking about how far we can go. Generally, if you can make it 25 feet or more, you're going to be good for any sort of normal studio use. This is going to be putting things to its limit, and for now, I'm going to press the record button. So now I can actually record, and recording the camera, that's the audio you're hearing right now, and I will note when I actually change over to the internal recording. And let's get that noise reduction on. Looking for the little badge as it changes on here. Okay, I'm gonna take a walk. And right now we are at 15 feet, 4.5 meters away from the camera. How am I coming through? And let's go to 25 feet. I'm facing away from the camera right now. And 25 feet is 7.5 meters. And I'm going to face the camera right now and do a turnaround at 50 feet, which is 15 meters away. Let's see if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And let's keep going. And I'm going to see if you lose me or not. And we're at 75 feet, 25 meters. And this is going to be more than enough distance that you need on any microphone for any normal use case. By far, 15 feet is usually good, let alone 25 feet. And of course, further out you can go, the more you know your signal is strong and not going to accidentally cut out. We're at 100 feet, 30 meters away. How am I coming through? Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. And let's go back to our further distance away. And we're now at 125 feet, 37.5 meters away from the camera. How am I coming through? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And listen for any weird noises, cutouts, because we are getting to the maximum distance I ever tested on a microphone without being line of sight. 150 feet, 45 meters is pretty much the maximum distance any microphone has made without cutting out. And this is going to be the ultimate test for this device to see if it compares to the best of the best for line of sight being an issue or not. Do we have to play with that? I have no clue. We're now 175 feet, 52.5 meters. I'll do a turnaround here. And at this point right here, of this distance, right here is the maximum I've ever tested. And I'm gonna do a turnaround again. But even still at 175, I've never seen a mic not cut out. So that was just a double test just to make sure, since I don't know how the reception is going to pan out on this one. 200 feet, 60 meters away. Let's do a turnaround. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And if you need verification about my distance, all I would do is take 25 steps back, but small steps. So I'm taking big steps. I measured out with the measuring tape just to make sure. We're now at 225 feet, 67.5 meters, and I don't see any point in doing a turnaround this far away because at this point, anything that's 2.4 gigahertz would cut out just ridiculous distance. So 250 feet, 75 meters away, how are we coming through here? And let's keep going. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Everybody still? 275 feet, 82.5 meters away. Can you still hear me? Let's go back further. And I'm getting at the point where I'm going downhill from my camera, so it might be easier to lose me reception distance. And we are at 300 feet, 90 meters away. And line of sight to my camera, well, it's still there. And just 375 feet, 112.5 meters. And that's, of course, much further than this is rated for. I think it's 100 meters distance this is rated for. So I don't know how far I'm coming through it all. We're now at 400 feet. Out of curiosity, I'm at 200 feet away, 60 meters. And I want to know if this post will block my signal, which I'm sure it will. But of course, this is a test to see if I cut out going back and forth between that pole. Battery life. I'll be making part 3 of 3 video because this video is being way too long, and I'll try to get more comparative audio samples to say the DJI and the Rode, just so you can have more of an idea if you're still undecided, and this gives you a chance to ask your questions. What do you want to know? In the battery life testing, I'll be changing the screen to max brightness while recording. And I'll also be making it so it goes to regular battery saving mode and not recording. And the battery life, I guarantee you, will be hugely different. Massively, not even close. Like we're talking about the classification of, say, the Blink 500 Pro X with its 10 hours battery life versus, say, the DJI with its only 6-hour battery life, or even the Rode Wireless Me with only about 5.5 hours battery life. Is kind of disappointing, actually, when it comes down to it. And you could reduce it even more if you're at max all the time with the max. Anyways, point is, battery life can differ substantially. And I'll be showing that in part 3 of 3 videos, so stay tuned for that. I will pin a link in the description of this video when that video is finally out. Okay, some of you might wonder, what are my thoughts thus far? My thoughts this far is that the screen doesn't go quite as bright as I like to. If you're outside and you really want to read your screen, you're going to be turning it to max brightness, which does substantially reduce the battery life compared to mid-range brightness. Now, if I were in a studio, mid-range brightness or even a little lower is absolutely fine. That's what I use most of the time. When you saw me recording right here, I never had it on max. I had it at about 90% when I was outside recording my distance testing on this video, but not 100%, but you definitely notice the difference in battery life for sure right there. And internal recording it's known to reduce battery life. In terms of reception distance, it's sufficient for most use cases unless you plan to go far away from the camera. Line of sight is not too major until you start getting, well, you heard it on the distance test if you didn't skip through that. Internal recording will save you otherwise. This is a display piece. But the point here is a showcase piece. You're not normally going to be going far away from your showcase. See, this is brand. You show your brand, just like I do on my computer right back here. This is the point of this. You don't have a lavalier port on this. You're not going to be connected to wired lav. Basically, a DJI mic, you will want a wired lav for that one. But why not so much for this one? The denoise helps massively. The noise removal, I call it denoise as well because the same idea, just different name. So DJI mic picks up every frickin' sound around you, insanely. You could have an elevator, because I did have an elevator. I was staying in an apartment when I did the review of the DJI mic, and I could barely even hear it, but it picks up so noticeably loud. On the DJI mic, it picks up every little tiny sound. Great for recording the sounds of nature if you're in nature, but not good for city life whatsoever, or being in any sort of city center where there's sirens going or anything, because it'll just pick up everything, and that's when you need a lavalier to remove some of that noise. However, this has that noise removal built in, which is a great feature to have. Right now, as you notice, I am recording with the Sennheiser MKH50. I have an initial review testing of these, and I have the rest of the parts I need for finalizing that review. If you want to see the best microphone you'll ever see for YouTube, and it's actually used in Hollywood movie making, you'll want to check out that review. That'll be in the description of this video, as well as 3 of 3 of this review will be pinned in my comments and in the description. So watch for that when that finally comes out. That battery life testing is going to take a while, and I need to charge my batteries enough in my camera to actually record that long. Why? Because I'm expecting about a full 8 hours, and if I charging the receiver at the same time as using the audio device, I'm going to see if that works. So basically, if you're one person like I am, flip back and forth and you can go forever. Is it possible? Well, find out and stay tuned for part 3 of the review of the Saramonic BlinkMe. But for now, this is Eric of Not BIOS Studio. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a most wonderful day.